Hey guys, thanks for checking out my video. I may have been wrong about the new Ascendancies not being better for Frostblades. We spent a lot of time on my stream yesterday and before cooking a sword hybrid version of Gambler, and I think it turned out really, really good. And so I feel obligated to upload another video. I just uploaded my Gambler League Start video yesterday, but that was too premature, and I didn't invest enough time making this POB. I think this version is just better in every way. The This version is a sword version, so I was thinking that the sword would free up a lot of points from having to travel all the way up to the claw nodes up here, and that all the stuff up here was like replaceable. And I think it turned out to be just way better. It's way more survivability. The claw version does have more like up top end damage potential, but we were still able to get this one to 30, almost 37 million damage. And but it also has block cap, 75 block, 77% evade, and 100% suppression, and way better fizz reduction, like 5 times better fizz reduction. So this character is going to be tanky, and it's going to have good damage. I think this build is going to feel really good overall. Thanks to all the people who helped me iterate on this yesterday on my stream. We optimized, and we made little changes, little tweaks, and I think this is the final end result that pretty much can't be optimized anymore. So let's go through it. So first, there's a Vaal Pact option. I added some more notes here, so I'm going to talk about the notes that I added to the POB. Vaal Pact is an option you can use with Strength of Blood. So if you take Strength of Blood, it gives you a ton of fizz reduction. You can see the fizz reduction here goes up by about 50%, because Strength of Blood gives you 22% fizz reduction with the amount of leech that we have, which is just absolutely crazy. So if you look on the calc screen right here, you will see we have 33% of our life as a leech rate, and that's because of Vitality Void and the Leech Mastery here, increasing our base leech rate to 33. And Strength of Blood gives you 2% fizz reduction for every 3. So that would be 11. 33 divided by 3, that's 11, and then 2% per gives you 22. So you get 22 fizz reduction from this, which is crazy. But the downside is it disables your leech, your non-instant leech, that is. And so if you don't use Vaal Pact, you only have you would have to only have the instant leech from the mastery here if you had it still, and that would only be 350 or so, that's still some recovery, but it's not great recovery. But if you change this mastery to the increased maximum recovery one, that gives you more fizz reduction because it increases that leech rate that Strength of Blood scales from. So the fizz reduction number goes up even higher with that mastery. And then you can take Vaal Pact and just turn all of your leech into instant to counteract that downside. Vaal Pact does have some playstyle implications because it makes it so if you're not attacking something, your Blood Rage will degen you, but it's only going to be at a rate of around 70. So it'll take about 10, after about 10 seconds, you'll take 700 damage, and you'll be down to about 3,000 HP from max HP, which is 3,700 on this POB. So it's not like it's crazy degen or anything. You can also still leech regularly, meaning non-instant leech, from your projectile hits because Vaal Pact only affects melee leech. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Also, if you use Vaal Pact, your life recovery from all non-leech sources will be disabled. So that means no life flask either. So if you go Vaal Pact, you can't use a life flask. So that enables you to add on a basalt flask, which is what I did, or a sulfur flask if you want more damage. And so that, in combination with the Strength of Blood, I think is extremely strong if you're okay with using Vaal Pact. If you don't like using Vaal Pact, that's fine. I have another tree here that doesn't have it, and that's basically you still take Strength of Blood because Strength of Blood is just too good, and then you just keep the 10% instant Leech Mastery. Now that this build will have less recovery, but it'll also not have that dangerous downside of Vaal Pact. So it's up to you whether or not you want to use Vaal Pact. Okay, let's move on. I don't want this video to like take all day. So bleed, the bleed wheel down here is incredibly powerful. It's like the most efficient damage points on the whole tree. We want to take advantage of it. Before you get a heat shiver, you're not going to have full fizz conversion anyway, and so your frost blades will be able to bleed, and you'll have no problem using it. But once you put on heat shiver and you take the fizz to cold mastery, this one right next to it here, then your frost blades is not going to deal any fizz damage. Because it's going to be full converted, and you have to have fizz damage to bleed. So that's what VLS is going to also help with. So VLS will still deal fizz damage because it doesn't fully convert its elemental damage, and you will have to rely on your lightning strike to bleed targets, which I think is fine. If you stagger the uses of your two VLSs, you can get over 20 seconds of bleed up time. Because VLS lasts for 6 seconds, and then the projectiles return for another second or two, and then bleed lasts for 5 seconds. So it would be smart to put down a VLS, wait till it's over, wait like 2 or 3 seconds, then put your second VLS down, and then let those projectiles start returning and bleeding, and then you will get about 24 seconds of uptime on bleed using VLS only. And that's only after you have heat shiver and full conversion. So keep that in mind for bleed. Finesse and lethality points. I put this in here just to kind of highlight that you can use finesse as a like flexible 2 points. Like if you don't want to go for Vaal Pact, you can just take that point off and switch this lethality pathing point to here and then take finesse instead. If you do go for Vaal Pact, you can just drop finesse, put that point over here, and in Vaal Pact. And these are like points you can use to, like, you know, while you're adding stuff to your tree and you don't want to just like waste a travel point, you can just put it here instead and then swap it back later. Another note about Strength of Blood. If you are going for Strength of Blood, you have to have a Comb Lethal Pride. That's the one that gives you the Strength of Blood keystone. So if you don't have a Comb Lethal Pride, you're going to have Chain Breaker or I forget what the other one is. You're not going to have Strength of Blood. So make sure you have a Comb Lethal Pride, which is going to make divining it harder, especially in SSF, getting it. So keep that in mind. So for Gambler, I think the Resin Version node is actually what I want to go for first, and because I think it's the most powerful node. But unfortunately, that means you're going to have to take the minus 25 resistance penalty first at first lab. So to counter this, I might use Purity of Elements while leveling, especially after Katava, because that extra resistance penalty is going to be pretty harsh. But there is a lot of resists on the tree that we can take. Weathered Hunter, Survivalists, One with Nature, Cloth and Chain. Those can all help you. And those resists are right here, Cloth and Chain. And then this wheel right here while leveling is a lot of all res. And then you get all res from right here. And then you can also take more all res right here if you need help with resistances early. So keep that in mind. And then the rest of the Ascendancy nodes, the double damage, triple damage, and avoid stun and ailments, you can take whichever one of those you want in any order pretty much. So my Ascendancy order is going to be risky exploit first, and then reversed odds, and then probably growing accumulator, and then I'll probably take risk aversion last because softcore gaming, and I'm probably not going to have. I want to cap my avoid ailments with the boot implicit, and I'm not going to have access to Ickers that early probably. So that's probably what I'll do. I put this in the POB config here. This is just to simulate the 90% chance to have your res count as 90 from risky exploit. So if you enable this and your resistances go to 90 here, this is what it's going to look like 90% of the time once you have Kilowava's Bluster. So you'll have 90% chance to count as having 90 res, and so you can kind of just use this to see what that's going to look like for your elemental mitigation. The elemental mitigation on this build is going to be very, very good. 90% of the time it will look like that. But you can turn that on or off, just because POB doesn't have the technology to counter that, to factor this in for defenses yet, or maybe ever. And let's see, anything else on the notes? The rest of the stuff in here is the same as before, pretty much. Some of the things changed a little bit, like accuracy capping, but most of it's the same. And close combat. Another big change that you are enabled to use with a sword is you can use close combat, which is a very, very strong damage gem. This replaced Nightblade pretty much. And then we also changed to Molten Shell because we have 20k armor now, and so we can take advantage of Molten Shell, which is very powerful. And then, let's see, you can still use Whirling Blades with a sword, and so that doesn't have to change. We're going to go Flesh and Stone for sure. We're not going to use Grace at all anymore. And then the rest of it, I think, is pretty much the same. And so the POB will be in the description. I think this is going to be the best version this league for sure. And it's still, like I said in my other video, it's not going to have nearly as much damage as Warden ever did, but it's going to be very tanky. It might not be quite as tanky as the Trickster was, like at ultra high budget, but it's going to be very, very good. The items I put in here are very, very good. They're almost perfect items, and so keep that in mind. You can just progress toward these items. With recombinators, you will be able to craft these items, but these are aspirational items. So when you're starting out, you're gonna not have this much damage, but you still will have plenty of damage to feel good. And these are what you can work up to. I only put 2 stat jewels in here. Oh, another note about corrupted blood. I don't know if I put that on here. Oh yeah, I did. You really want to have corrupted blood immunity, by the way, if you're going to use Vaal Pact, because if you get affected by corrupted blood and you don't have anything to leech your life back, you will pretty much just die, because you're not going to have a life flask to get rid of it, and you're not going to be able to have any recovery if you're not attacking. So keep that in mind with Vaal Pact. You really want corrupted blood immunity. I don't think I really need to say much else about this. The POB will be in the description. It speaks for itself. Download it, check it out. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks a lot for everybody who helped me make little tweaks and adjustments to this to get it to where it is now. I think this will be the build to go. So yeah, hope you guys have fun. Thanks for watching. Stop by the stream at twitch.tv/dishpoe. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and have fun in Free Show League. See you next time.